Ever felt like someone manipulates your reality, making you question your sanity? You may have been a victim of gaslighting. This term, coined from the 1944 film Gaslight, describes a form of psychological manipulation where one person attempts to override another's reality. It's a subtle yet insidious form of mental control that's more prevalent in our society than we might think. Gaslighting can take many forms, and it's not always easy to recognize. It can happen in personal relationships, in the workplace, and even on a societal level, making it a pervasive and damaging phenomenon. In this video, we will explore 4 distinct types of gaslighting, each with their own unique characteristics and impacts. Understanding these types can help us identify instances of gaslighting in our own lives and equip us with the knowledge to combat it. So, stay tuned as we delve into the different types of gaslighting and how they manifest in real-life situations. First, let's explore trivializing gaslighting, a subtle but harmful type. This form of gaslighting takes a seemingly innocent stance, but its effects are far from benign. It's when the gaslighter minimizes the victim's feelings or experiences, making them feel like their reactions are overblown or irrational. It's like being told, "You're making a mountain out of a molehill," or "You're just too sensitive." To illustrate, let's consider a case study. Imagine a woman named Jane. She's in a relationship with John, who constantly trivializes her feelings. When Jane expresses concern about John's late nights out without explanation, he brushes her off, saying she's overreacting and it's not a big deal. Over time, Jane starts to doubt her feelings and perceptions. This type of gaslighting subtly undermines the victim's trust in their own emotions and experiences. It's a psychological sleight of hand that diverts the focus from the gaslighter's behavior to the victim's reactions. Over time, the victim may begin to believe they are indeed too sensitive or unreasonable. The corrosive effect of trivializing gaslighting is the erosion of the victim's self-esteem. They start to feel that their feelings and experiences are unimportant or invalid. They may even begin to question their sanity, wondering if their reactions are indeed out of proportion. Trivializing gaslighting can make a person feel their feelings and experiences are insignificant, shaking their self-esteem. Moving on to the next type, countering gaslighting. This is a particularly insidious form of manipulation where the gaslighter questions the victim's memory of events, twisting reality to serve their own agenda. Imagine a scenario where a partner constantly denies or rewrites past happenings. "You never told me about the dinner with your friends," they might say, even though you clearly remember discussing it. Or perhaps they insist, "You've always loved this movie," when you're certain you never even watched it before. This constant questioning and rewriting of the past can create a fog of doubt around your own recollections. It's like trying to navigate through a maze with someone constantly moving the walls. The aim of countering gaslighting is to destabilize your sense of reality, making you rely on the gaslighter's version of events rather than your own. Let's look at a real case. Meet Sam. Sam's partner would regularly deny events that Sam clearly remembered. Small things at first, like denying they'd eaten at a certain restaurant or seen a particular film. Over time, this escalated to denying entire conversations or experiences. Sam began to question his memory, feeling confused and insecure. The more he doubted himself, the more control his partner gained. Countering gaslighting can make a person doubt their memory, leading to confusion and insecurity. It's a form of mental manipulation that can have serious long-lasting effects on a person's sense of self and reality. The third type we will discuss is withholding gaslighting. This form of manipulation is a sly one, a psychological game of hide-and-seek where the gaslighter, rather than confront the issue at hand, chooses to feign ignorance or outright refuses to listen to the victim's concerns. Let's take a look at a real-life example to better illustrate this form of gaslighting. Meet Jane. Jane is in a relationship with John, who often dismisses her worries or concerns. Whenever Jane tries to communicate her feelings, John either pretends not to understand or simply tunes her out. This leaves Jane feeling frustrated and unheard. John's behavior is a classic example of withholding gaslighting. He is subtly undermining Jane's reality by refusing to acknowledge her feelings. This form of gaslighting can be particularly damaging as it creates a sense of isolation in the victim. They begin to question their own thoughts and feelings, wondering if they are indeed overreacting or if their concerns are valid. This is the insidious power of withholding gaslighting. It's not about the blatant denial of facts, but rather, it's about creating a fog of doubt around the victim's perception of their own reality. The gaslighter's refusal to engage in meaningful conversations or validate the victim's feelings can lead to a sense of isolation and self-doubt in the victim. Withholding gaslighting can leave a person feeling isolated and unheard. It's a silent form of manipulation, but the impact can be loud and far-reaching. Finally, let's discuss diverting gaslighting. As we delve into this final type, remember that knowledge is power, and understanding these tactics can help us counteract them. Diverting gaslighting is when the gaslighter skillfully changes the subject or questions the victim's thoughts, effectively diverting the conversation away from their actions. It's a classic sleight of hand technique, but instead of a magician's trick, it's used to manipulate and disorient the victim. Let's illustrate this with a real-life case study. Imagine a couple, Alice and Bob. Alice notices that Bob has been coming home late from work and seems distant. She decides to address this with him, expressing her concerns about their relationship. Bob, instead of acknowledging her worries, quickly changes the subject, questioning why Alice didn't pick up his dry cleaning. He then accuses her of being forgetful, implying that her concern about their relationship is just another example of her overreacting. In this scenario, Bob has skillfully diverted the conversation away from his actions and turned it into a critique of Alice. This leaves Alice questioning her memory and her judgment, making her feel that her thoughts are invalid and she is overreacting. Diverting gaslighting is a powerful tool in the gaslighter's arsenal, as it can make the victim feel that it's their fault, that they're the ones causing the problems. Recognizing this tactic is the first step towards breaking free from its grip. Diverting gaslighting can make a person feel their thoughts are invalid, and they are overreacting. As we've seen, gaslighting can take many forms, but they all serve to manipulate and control. Trivializing gaslighting belittles and invalidates your experiences. Countering gaslighting challenges your memory of events, creating doubt in your mind. Withholding gaslighting denies information or feigns a lack of understanding, leaving you feeling isolated. Finally, diverting gaslighting changes the topic or questions your credibility, steering you away from the truth. These patterns can be subtle and insidious, often hidden behind a facade of concern or love. But when you know what to look for, you can protect yourself and others from this form of psychological manipulation. It's crucial to recognize these patterns, to stand up against them, and to seek help when needed. If you found this video useful, consider subscribing to our channel for more insightful content. Remember, awareness is the first step towards change.